Hello, what's going on? This is my first little video doing something like this, and it's a little weird, I can't lie, because I'm typically more of a streamer, I guess, or I don't know. It's definitely something where I think have seen so much content of these types of videos online where people just hang out and talk about certain things, and it's so calming. And I don't know, I've always wanted to try my hand at that. So I'm going to be playing on my Forever World here, and we're just going to be talking because I want to be able to get back to what makes me happy, and right now that is making content like this. So we're going to try our hand at it. But I do have some things that I want to talk about today. Come on, little dude, helping me out. Something that's on my mind today actually is a question, and that question is, what constitutes a bad day? And it's actually interesting when I was thinking about it, because I mean, genuinely, what constitutes a bad day? You know, we have our days, all of us, whether that's good, bad, kind of neutral. It's an interesting thought and an interesting question to kind of start off. And let me give an example, that way we have an understanding of, I guess, why I'm even thinking about this. Early this morning when I woke up for work, things were normal. I typically wake up pretty early. I wake up at like roughly 6 in the morning. That way I have enough time to, brush my teeth, get ready, all that stuff. But maybe around the time I was getting into my car, I started feeling this weird stomach pain, and it really threw me off, honestly, because I've had stomach pains before. I'm really bad with stomach issues, and this is no different. And it hit me really hard. Like, some days it's not bad. I know my own levels of pain, just like all of us, and man, it hit me. And I tried to fight through it. I drove all the way to work, which is like a 25-minute drive, just about. And even though I got all the way there, I was still feeling really bad. And I tried to fight through it. I tried to do what I needed to not think about it too much. But it wasn't going away. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of ruined my morning. So much so that not only was I physically unwell, I was also mentally checked out. My day just started and I'm already going through something like this, and it just wasn't what I was looking forward to, honestly. So because of that, I figured, well, at this rate, I don't know if I'm in the mood to even handle all of this right now while I'm here at work. This is a lot, and I think I just need to rest, go home, and feel better. So I did. I put in my time off. I packed up my things and I came home. And now I'm here making this video, which is kind of funny. But I say all this because I wanted to give just an idea of how this kind of already led me to thinking about this topic. And thinking of bad days, right? Like, it is, in general, it is a subjective term. We all have our reasonings for why we feel like a bad day is a bad day. And that will help us determine whether we feel that way or not, depending on certain factors. For me, bad days come about when the routine of something is broken in a negative way, which can impact my own mood and physical well-being. That is what makes me feel like I'm having a bad day. And it could be different for you, you know? Which it probably is. But I guess talking about all of that, it's just interesting how that, I think, relates to a lot of what's just going on right now with everybody in society and with just the day-to-day outlook of things. And looking back at the period of time during that COVID era, it was actually really interesting to see how much everybody came together during a time of, uncertainty. Everybody was stuck inside. No one knew what was coming next. I mean, we all truly thought, like, this was the world we lived in now. And I don't think a lot of us have experienced that before. So it was really interesting, actually, to now look back on that and think about how far we've come since then, 6 years ago, really. And at the time, you could technically say, like, that was a bad time period in a lot of people's lives due to, loss and other factors. But we all tried to get each other through it. And that's the really, really interesting part. I think all were so simultaneously experiencing the same thing. We were all each having a bad day, a bad week, a bad year, honestly, at that point. That people were coming out with, YouTube channels, or they were coming out with posts trying to just help anyone and everyone look on the bright side of things. And we jump forward to today, and it feels like there's so much stress and anxiety and just so many factors that are at play, making us kind of question what is, the point of it all. What is this? What is that? And I think we're getting caught up in that a lot, which is, only right. I mean, it is true. We are truly going through a lot. There is just as much uncertainty now than there was then. But honestly, I think a big portion of that is on top of the many new factors with constantly being tapped into what's going on, with constantly just not knowing where the political world is taking us, or where even us as a society, what we are doing to mitigate some of these things that are happening. There's just so much at play. But I think we ourselves, if we're looking internally, we're not slowing down enough like we were then to even appreciate what we have around us. And I have truly felt like that is the case. I may have had a bad morning, but it's not a bad day. I'm looking out the window now and I can see the sun bright, shining, the wind blowing through the trees, and the leaves are glistening in the sun, and it looks beautiful out there. Just like the sun shadows as they like go off the trees, and that in itself already makes me happy. That in itself can help change a mood. Obviously, that's the smallest factor, and many other factors that can help make a day turn around, but that's just an example of slowing down and taking the time to realize what's around us. And I think we lose out on that a lot. We lose sight of that. And it's easy to, trust me. I'm just as much somebody who can lose sight of that just as easily. I'm not always as, tapped into my present moment because maybe I'm scrolling on my phone, or maybe I'm playing a game, and multiple games, not just, Minecraft or not just something else that I'm into. Maybe it's something that's got me hooked, and I can't get away. Especially mobile games, right? They sink us in. It's hard to sometimes be present with all these different factors around us. But you have to find what works for you and the rhythm of that. Because that is truly what is going to help you understand what works and what doesn't in your day-to-day. We all have our own rhythm, just as much as we all have our own subjective reasonings as to what is bad and what is good. There is obviously I think, fundamental and overarching good and bad, but in regards to just your day, and in the meaning of slowing down, finding the rhythm in the process of things, and how we even get there in the first place. It's about understanding everything around us, but then truly coming back to ourselves internally and not losing sight of that. And it takes a long time. It is not an easy process. I used to have so many anxiety attacks when I did not live at home for a while, for a couple years, because I was so focused on so many, external factors rather than the internal ones. It truly wasn't until I realized at a breaking point that I was homesick, that I was pursuing something that wasn't right. I was doing so many things at the time that were for others and not for me. And that's when I knew I needed to come back home and I needed to restart. We are going to understand ourselves whether we honestly like to or not, but jumping, the bad moments before they get there can really help when they do come, because you're going to understand yourself. You're going to be able to reassess each situation, each of those moments. You're going to thank yourself for it too. I'm going to go back to the house. It's dark and there's a lot of monsters here. And I'm not some wise guy who's at an old age, right? Who has years and years of knowledge behind him. But I'm also not young either. I've been thankful enough to live a good amount of years here and have gone through things just like everyone else, and this is just my experience, the things that I've learned. And I just think it's always interesting to share that thought process, because you may have gone through things differently as well, and I would be curious to know how that has gone. We all each are just trying to do what's best for us. And it's not like any of us look for having a bad day. It's not like we look to initiate aggression or initiate negativity. I don't think any of us truly want that. Even when we may come across strangers or friends, family who may feel that way, I don't think they woke up and decided that that's what they wanted to do. And I'm talking about regular people in our day-to-day. I'm not talking about the really small 1% of individuals in our world, unfortunately, who are not in the commonality of that. I'm truly just speaking about people we see as we go to the store, the people that we interact with in any customer service, industry, or with the family and friends around us. It's about how we assess and deal with these situations. Our self-control and our justification for, our justification for acting how we're gonna act. It's a learning process. But in that learning process, I hope that you're able to know that it's okay to not get it right on the first try. We tend to easily think that we're being judged. But really, we're the only ones judging ourselves, honestly. We're the only ones who get in our own heads. We are our own self-critics. What is making that noise? Oh, the little pig. And I have definitely not learned everything either. Because the last thing I want to do is be some sort of hypocrite, or be some sort of, person or guy on here who thinks I can spiel about life's hardest topics because I've gone through some things and I think that I can just now comment on them as if I know better. I don't know better, but I at least have awareness. And sometimes when I'm in a hard position, or when I'm stuck in a moment, or would like to just hear other people's thoughts, I come to things like this. So maybe if you're listening and you're coming here because you're also having a bad day, maybe, or it's just not going how you wish, it's gonna be all right. We all have those days, The hardest part is having to just get through that. But you don't realize how small this moment will be in a couple weeks time, a couple months, and by next year you'll be like, wow, I remember when, you know, that happened, when I was having a bad day. And look at me now, I'm thriving, I'm enjoying things, I'm not where I was then. You have to give yourself that grace, because no one else is going to give that for you. And I hope I'm making sense. I really do. These, again, kind of commentary things, they're new to me. So bear with me as I get my, you know, my thoughts all out here without backtracking or getting things off topic. I also don't know if me just running around in here not doing too much is annoying or triggering. I think I'm just kind of, it feels cozy in here. I like being able to come into my forever world and feel like I can just hang out and talk. And if I remember to do something while I'm talking, then I'll do that. And if I don't, then I think I'll remember eventually. But I hope all of that is something to sit with, at least, because it truly does sit with me, and I thought it was an interesting question to bring up and kind of expand on. I think we're gonna feed the cows and get some leather to finish up the enchanting room. Some of this is not done though. But I hope you follow me on this journey of just trying to understand not just myself, but understand yourself maybe through my own thought process of the world around me and my own life. Not every video will be like this, but I think it's always nice to have videos like this. To have moments where you're able to just sit with yourself and think. It's like therapy. It truly is. And I used to do therapy quite a bit back then, when I was having my anxiety attacks. And it'd be nice to get back into that, but in a way that I can appreciate now. And right now, I think being here and hanging out and just talking, that's what brings me joy. That's what alleviates a lot of the worry. But I'm gonna sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of my day. Because even though this morning was not great, that doesn't mean the rest of my day has to be bad either. I hope you have a great day, even if it didn't start off right. I'll see you in the next one.